prayer. Dear Swami, take this body and speak through me. Help me convey your message this day. Thank you, Swami. I like to begin speaking by saying that I'm not a Vedic scholar. I'm not any sort of special person. I'm not a VIP, unless you think I'm a very irritating person. I'm not a particularly educated man that is capable of bringing you any great wisdom. Really, all that I am is a messenger that can convey examples of Swami's work and his teachings. And so today, I would like to show you Swami's mission. You know, we often see Swami's darshan videos and we see pictures of Swami, and we all love Swami with all our hearts. But what we really should be concentrating on, even more so, is Swami's mission. And today that is what I'd like to show you, some examples of how his mission on earth is a great success, truly a great success. You know, many people, many of us cried and cried and cried when Swami passed. And I'd like to uplift you somewhat today by showing you that Swami's mission was a great success and that we can all be part of it. We can take up his mission ourselves. And so I guess we should begin with, what is his mission? What was his mission? What did he come here to do? He came here to transform us, to help us realize that we are divine, that we are God incarnate. And so I guess the first slide is very appropriate when Swami is saying that we are avatars. You know, Swami is a Purna avatar, but he is saying that we are Amsavatars, and that we are divine, and part of this divine superconsciousness, this Brahman, he came in human form. This Brahman came in human form to teach us that we are part of that great divinity, that we are a piece of it. And he says here, most of the, I think nearly all of the pieces that I'll show you here are actual Swami's words from his discourses or from his books. And so you're going to see some very important things that maybe you didn't know before, or maybe you really hadn't thought about before. But some of these things are really the essence of his teachings. The essence of his mission is that we should realize our divinity. And not only that, but if we realize our divinity, we will act divine. First of all, there is only one. Everything that you see, he is saying that is only one, and everything came out of this one. And you yourself are the divine principle. You're endowed with immense divine power. You are the God of this universe. You are actually creating the universe. Let's say that again. You are creating the whole universe. You are creating the universe. What can that possibly mean? In fact, nothing in this world is real. You saw in one of your bhajans today, the world is an illusion. And he says all forms are creations of the mind. Everything is a creation of the mind. The mind alone is the cause of all things. It means the whole cosmos is nothing but a projection of the mind. In an interview, Swami said to me, when I was working on the creation film that you may have heard of that's playing in the museum, you know, we worked on this, we made this film on the Vedas, the creation of the universe according to the Vedas. And Swami said to me in the interview, there is no creation, only projection. Those are his exact words, only projection, no creation. It's a projection from the mind. Now, if that's so, he's saying, you need not go anywhere in search of gods. To a distant place, God is in us, above us, below us, around us. In fact, you are God. Your mind alone is responsible for your joy or your sorrow. If you realize that all experiences emanate from your mind and that you are God, you will become God. The key word there is realize. If you realize that you are God, then you will become God. It is the mind that creates within itself the conception of the universe. It gives form to the perceptions gotten from the senses. The senses that we get, the senses, our mind interprets them. And I guess that's why we have differences, because we interpret the sense perceptions differently. Again, he says the external world is created by your own chitta, mind or inner consciousness. Everything is appearance, something mistaken to be there, but not really there. This is a very serious discussion. You mean everything that I'm seeing is not really there. It only appears to be there. You thought you were going to just see some movies. All that you see in the external world is present in you. The mountains, oceans, cities, villages are present in your heart. All beings are in you. You are the basis of everything. And if you've noticed, what I do is I leave this PowerPoint with you so that in your study circles you can look these things up. We've had some excellent study circles based on going into some of these passages, because this is really Swami's mission. You know, we can sing bhajans and we can do all sorts of things, and we can worship Swami and pray, but really his job here is to make us realize this divinity that he's talking about here. You are the basis of everything. Everything in this world is of your own making. In fact, there's nothing other than you. Now, if you know that there's only one, and there's only you, that must mean the other person is you. Jesus said, "Inasmuch as you have done it unto one of the least of these, my brethren, you have done it unto me." See? And by the way, since we're talking about Jesus, I was raised a Christian. I cannot tell you how far away from the teachings that I received as a Christian this is. I was taught that God is up there, and I better watch myself or he's going to be mad. I received information that is not as pure as this. This is pure information coming from Swami. What you think is outside is only a reflection of your own inner being. My goodness, you mean those people that are acting that way are really acting that way because of me? What we see is nothing but your own creation. The experience of the world is but a projection of our mind and the reflection of our own inner thoughts. As is the thought, so is the vision. The color of the glasses you wear determines the color in which things appear to you. If you wear red glasses, it'll appear red. If you wear green glasses, everything will appear green. Pure thoughts make the world appear as pure. If you view things with love, with a loving heart, the whole creation will appear to you as a reflection of divine love. All these things you see around you are your own reflections, as if in a mirror. You've got to take responsibility for that. All the good and the bad that you come across in the external world are just your own reflections. So do not point an accusing finger at others. We've all heard the Swami story. You point a finger at others, you get the other fingers pointing back at you, you know. The whole world depends on your own conduct. If you are good, so too will the world be. Now, how on earth could that be? All those bad people out there? You mean that's got something to do with me? If your feelings are divine, you will find divinity everywhere. Once you purify your own heart, you'll find purity everywhere. The world outside is just a reflection of your heart. If you fill your heart with love, you will experience love everywhere. Now, you've heard the phrase, worship the Saguna to reach the Nirguna. The Saguna is the divinity with form. The Nirguna is the formless. So if we want to realize this formless, realize that we are the formless, Swami came here so that we could focus on his form. And by loving his form, it's hard for us to imagine, how do I love this ether, you know? How do I love this nothing without a form? How do I love that? So this Brahman came here, took a form, so that we could relate to him. See, it's hard to imagine a relationship with the formless. So the formless took a form in the form of Sai Baba so that we could relate to him, so that we can realize our own divinity. Until finally you realize your own reality as the formless divine principle. That is self-realization. Now, this is something that struck me extremely, it hit me like a ton of bricks. It is that I have the power to shape my buddhi. My buddhi is my intelligence. My buddhi is my essence. That thing which I'm speaking to you with, that power that is within me, that divinity that is within me, that true essence, the real intelligence of this being can be shaped by my actions. I have the power to shape the buddhi. Is that clear? Does that strike you as much as it struck me? That I have the power to shape my buddhi. by my actions. I can actually change by my actions. I can change my internal self, my true self, by my actions in the world. And I'll give you an example. When we pray like this. We get down on our knees and we pray and we submit ourselves. We don't pray like this. Hey, right? We pray humbly. When we sing songs, we sing to God, right? That's singing the bhajans. You see all the things that these young people are doing, you're shaping the buddhi, see, right? You're shaping your intelligence. You're becoming more divine by your own actions. Is that clear? Wonderful concept to be able to have the power to shape my buddhi by what I choose to do, right? By my karma, by my actions, right? Prayer and meditation will purify your intellect and make it an effective instrument to win the Lord's grace and self-realization. And here he states his mission. The Jiva has come to this birth in order to reveal the splendor of the spark of Godhead, which it is. You can easily develop these skills through devotion based on performing duty without expectation of results. Nishkama karma. You don't want to do your service like Gene used to do his service. I'm doing service. Aren't I a good guy? I tell people, oh yeah, I feed the homeless. Oh yeah, I feed the homeless. I make burritos on Sunday mornings. We go downtown, we feed these poor people. Aren't I something? I did service to enhance the ego. I'm such a good guy. Not really, because in the very first interview that I ever had with Swami in 1988, we all came in and sat down, and Swami looked around the room and looked at everybody, and then he came and looked at me and went, "Bad boy." And he was right. I was a bad boy. But Swami is a loving God, and he took me. And to show you his power, and if I told you some of the things that I would do, that I had done when I was young, the mistakes that I made, you would run me out of here. You would say, oh my gosh, you made a terrible mistake. But Swami's great love, he said, you know, and I often use this story, do we have any school teachers in the room? Any school teachers? Do you still have the concept of hall monitor? A hall monitor in elementary school is when you have a student that's misbehaving, you give them a position of responsibility. You let them look after the other students. You put them in the position where you tell them, now I want you to keep your eye on the other students and help me keep them in line, right? And so I was made, when I was a little boy, I was a bad boy even then, and the teacher would make me into a hall monitor, and I would stand there. All of a sudden I had something to do to keep track of the other children. I had to keep them in line, no talking, you know, that kind of thing. When I was a little boy, they made me a hall monitor. And so what Swami did for me was he took this very, very bad boy. He looked at me the first time like, who let you in here? How did you get into the ashram? He made a hall monitor out of me. He said, what am I going to do with this boy? He is so bad. Let's see. He's a cameraman. Maybe I could let him be a cameraman here. You know, if a mother has a child that's doing well, she lets the child play in the backyard. You know, there's no problem. She doesn't have to watch the child too closely. The yard's fenced in, he's not going anywhere. She lets the child play in the backyard. If the child is sick, the mother brings it close and holds the child, takes him to the doctor, checks his temperature. She very closely monitors the child because he's sick. And that's what Swami did to me. He brought me close to him, not because I was a good boy, but because he felt that's the only way I can change this fellow. What am I going to do with this boy? And so he brought me close, and he sent me to Africa. He said, there's a guy that's spending $500 for dinner. Here's a guy that's drinking vodka. Here's a guy that wants to be a rich and famous director, and he's doing service to enhance the ego, and he claims to be a devotee. What am I going to do with him? So they sent me to Africa to film the service projects, to meet great devotees. Devotees that were very wealthy, but using their wealth properly. Serving the poor, buying food for the homeless and things like that. Let me see starving babies. I was filming a starving baby in the hospital in Lusaka, Zambia. The baby had sores all over his body. It was all shriveled up, a tiny little thing. And I was filming, as I was filming, I was thinking, oh my gosh, this is terrible. And the doctor whispered in my ear, I wish she brought the baby sooner. And I said, why? He said, baby's not going to live. And she brought it too late, you know. So, and I filmed a boy in an AIDS clinic as he died while I was filming, you know. And so he let me see those things. So, oh, I know how I can